Tight ends on the move this offseason: Martellus Bennett, Brandon Myers, Jared Cook. Who goes to the best situation?
I think in terms of upside in their situation, I kind of have a reverse order from in terms of how I have them in confidence. I think that Brandon Myers probably has the best situation, best quarterback, and probably most consistent offense. I think that Martellus Bennett's a nice fit in Chicago, and they've been desperately lacking a tight end for a long time. Jared Cook's the intriguing guy because outside of maybe Jimmy Graham, there might be no more talented or athletic tight end in the entire NFL. But in terms of confidence that will actually produce, Jared Cook has never produced more than 42 catches in a single season, so tough for me to put a lot of faith into him.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like we've been waiting forever on Jared Cook, and it's one of those things that we might be waiting for a while.
Yes.
And you're assuming, by the way, that Sam Bradford can get him the ball. I mean, Lance Kendricks came on towards the end of last year a little bit,
Yep.
but you're taking a lot of leaps of faith on basically a guy that, teases us.
My favorite of this group is Martellus Bennett. He did it last year. He was hurt a little bit with the Giants, but he did it last year. I'm not going to buy into the whole Mark Trestman is going to reinvent the Bears offense. I think that offensive line is still potentially a mess, but who's the thing that the Bears have really lacked with a bad offensive line is a very, very good blocker, which Martellus Bennett is, and a massive guy who can catch it. Martellus Bennett, 6'6", 270 pounds, and runs a 4.68. So if I'm picking one of these guys as a sleeper for me, it's Bennett.
Well, I like Myers the best, frankly. I mean, Bennett did that with Eli Manning, and Manning didn't have a very good year, and now Myers goes there. We know they're going to use their tight ends there. So to me, Myers proved it last year. He can be a reliable pass catcher, at least 75 catches. I like him.
Here's my worry about Myers, is Tom Coughlin is his coach. And Tom Coughlin doesn't hold no quarter to guys who don't block. And Brandon Myers was the second worst blocking tight end behind Jermaine Gresham last season in the NFL. Couldn't block at all. Now, he had an arm injury, shoulder injury. It's possible that was related. But what I worry is that you're going to see Tom Coughlin not want to see that player on the field.
Well, which of these guys is most likely to crack the top 10? Because right now none of them are in there, but at some point, somebody's going to leave the top 10. Who is most likely to get in?
I would say Martellus Bennett is, because I think Myers might actually be the safest guy. Like if you're saying, tell me which guy's going to score me 6 points a game. Mm-hmm. I think it's Brandon Myers because I do think he moves the chains and there's some upside there with Cook. But, I mean, Martellus Bennett was basically a top 10 guy for a lot of weeks last year. And given that Cutler's a downgrade from Eli, but not a huge downgrade for me, at least from a skill standpoint.
Well, what's your tight end strategy here? I mean, if you take a top 10 guy, you don't need a backup, right? I mean, in a 10-team league, you only need one tight end, but you can use tight ends at your flex spot. So are you taking a second one?
Not of this trio, and I don't think that any of these guys is sort of markedly better than the other two. I think this is a close cluster, so I'm not entirely enamored by one over the other two. I think it's pretty close all the way around.
Here's where I'll disagree. I think from tight ends 6 through 16, they're all the same.
I agree.
I have no idea. I rank some of them 12, I rank some of them 16, and I don't have any idea how it's going to turn out. And probably in week to week, it's going to be a different guy every week. Maybe an argument to grab one of the elite guys if you're in the right spot in your draft. But if you don't,
I play the matchups, frankly.
Right, stay away.
That's what if I don't have Gronk, assuming I'm willing to take the risk there, Tony Gonzalez, Jimmy Graham. If I don't have one of those guys, Jason Witten. I think there's a 5, right? If I don't have one of those 5 guys, I want to be the last guy in my league to take a.
And if it's Jared Cook, or if it's Brandon Pettigrew,
or if it's Kyle Rudolph, or it's Greg Olsen, or there's a lot of those kind of guys.
I like Kyle Rudolph, actually.
I like Kyle Rudolph, and I like Greg Olsen. I like both those guys more than any of these 3. But my point is that I think they're all just sort of guys. You know what I mean? And I think if I don't get one of those elite guys, I want to be the last guy in my league to take a tight end.
I liked Kyle Rudolph very much 2 years ago when his name was Mercedes Lewis.